Okay, we're back with the results from the resting metabolic rate test. So during the test, we record the data on the lab assignment at the end of every 5-minute interval. So is that pretty clear? You all might want to just pause the video right now and write down all of these numbers. We'll fill these in here in just a second. And notice that we did do a full 25 minutes with Morgan. Then, once the test was over, we printed out the data, which gives us a minute-by-minute breakdown of all of the variables that were measured during this particular test. So what I do for the analysis is then I look at these 5-minute periods, okay? And the first thing we're going to do, and this is going to answer question 1A on the bottom of your lab assignment, is during which 5-minute period was a steady state the most apparent, which means the numbers were the most consistent. Usually that happens in the 10 to 25 minute range. Usually the first 10 minutes people are not as relaxed, the numbers will continue to drop. So when I looked at minutes 16 to 20, if I threw out minute 16 especially, minutes 17 through 20, they were very consistent in terms of the VO2, the RQ value, which is the respiratory quotient. These were also very consistent during those times as well. These were consistent from minute 11 to 15, but notice that they're lower for minute 16 to 20, which means he was more relaxed. So for our steady state period, we chose minutes 16 through 20. The lowest heart rate during that period was 68 beats per minute. In terms of the lowest respiratory quotient was 0.82. We then looked at what the lowest VO2, oxygen consumption, and VCO2, CO2 consumption were during this period. And we got 1.7 ml per kg per minute for oxygen consumption, 1.6 ml per kg per minute for CO2 production. Then finally we looked at the calories. This might be the most important variable that we can, the most important information we can give somebody after a resting metabolic rate test, because the point of doing this really is knowing how many calories do I burn a day for my resting metabolic function. So the range during that identified period was 1290 to 1409. So what I did, to go back to the data, I threw out minute 16 because that seemed to be an outlier. So I just took the range from minute 17 to 20 here. Then I took the average of these variables, those four values, to get an average of 1323 or 1,323 kilocalories per day. So that is the number that we would identify for Morgan as being his resting metabolic rate in terms of calories. So from just his resting metabolic function, excluding any physical activity, he burns around 1,300 calories per day. So that's it for the resting metabolic rate lab. If you have any questions about the procedures, the section of the results, etc., just feel free to email me and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.